Hello Fizzwearers, I'm going to be showing you an early work in progress version of a brand new Gmod TARDIS update coming on Doctor Who's anniversary the 23rd of November. This is without a doubt the biggest update we've had in ages, so there's quite a lot to talk about here, including a brand new default interior, which is actually surprisingly good, a new vertical landing and low health flying feature, an updated manual destination select system, and possibly the biggest one, a brand new shields mechanic. But I'll get to that. First I want to talk about the new default TARDIS because it's just so cool, and here it is. The exterior is basically the same as it was. It has some more skin options, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I want to show the interior first, because if you haven't guessed already, the new interior is based on the Toyota TARDIS. But this interior isn't just like a worse version of the Toyota one, as I thought it was at the start. It's actually its own interior of lots of unique features that I would never expect to be in a TARDIS, and it also has a lot of stuff that isn't in the Toyota TARDIS, so it's worth talking about. So there's actually different settings for this interior. You can change the interior colour and you can change how many lamps there are. Just to show you, this is the turquoise interior with few lamps. But the best looking one is many lamps and dynamic lighting. Although it can get very laggy, which is why I'm not going to use it throughout this video. The dynamic lights adds a lot more light sources everywhere, which helps make it look more realistic and just more vibrant. And the dynamic lighting changes the overall colour very slowly. Kind of hard to notice. But I'm going to keep using the dynamic lighting during this video, so maybe you'll notice it. But I'm going to use few lamps just out with lag. This interior is just so detailed. There's a lot to talk about. Probably my favorite part is actually over here. Or down here, I should say. Unlike the Toyota TARDIS, this actually has all the wiring and stuff seen under the console. The proper Toyota interior can't have stuff like this, because there's just too much in it already. But the detail on this is insane. You can even see some wires going in here, and out of here, I guess, up to here, and then it's just chaotic. And if you look in here, there's actually a ladder leading down to a room. But I'll talk about that later when I go over the hallway system. Yep, you heard me, there's a hallway system. It's really cool. But before I go on about that, I want to show you all the different options and customization there is. So even with this console area alone, like in the 13th Doctor's TARDIS, you can customize so many individual things, but you don't just change the color because that'll be too easy. You can change individual things like this console to update its look, and that's because this interior kind of encompasses all of Smith and Capaldi's, meaning there's a lot of different options and references to different episodes. That's why there's a phone port option, which you can see over here, and different sonic ports, which changes this. And this is from Dare the Doctor with the stasis cube. You can also change this here to have different monitors which move around. Personally, I prefer the Capaldi one to the other two. But even more in depth than that, you can change the bits in this rotor. If I go here, I can change what this base looks like. It's so subtle, but you can tell differences. And you can even have it empty, so there's nothing there. This whole thing is gone. And you can also change this to be a different color, or to be turned off, and again to disappear. And guess what? You can also make something else disappear, these little pistons in the middle. So if you really wanted to, you get rid of the base, the neon lights, and the pistons, leaving you with just an empty bit of glass in the middle. Oh, I fell down. I'm not going to ramble on about the body groups all day, but there's just two more things I want to show you that are customizable because it's really cool. The throttle you can actually change, which I don't think I've ever seen before. You can change it to be left. That means when you materialize or dematerialize, only the left one gets pulled. I think only Capaldi did this. I'm not sure Matt Smith had this option, but maybe he did. That's just another cool hint to the show. Then if I change it to be right, it will swap, and then when I rematerialize, the right one will go up. Also, look at these lights around the edge when we land. Now that's what you call satisfying. And the last thing I'm going to mention about body groups, I promise, is the floor. You can change the lights when you're in flight. Let's just do that real quick. So currently they look like this, and if I change the lights, the pattern will be different. Then if I change it again, it changes again. This last one's pretty cool. It's probably my favorite. You can also get rid of the floor vents altogether. I don't know why you'd do that, but you can. Also want to briefly mention these screens, as before you just pressed it and it moved to a set position. Now you can customize the movement and move it wherever you want. So if I just hold E on it, I can move it wherever I want, up and down, left and right, all the way over here to this other one. There we go. But it still has some preset options. If you do Alt E on it, it will change its height to a set position. And which is actually really cool, if you Alt E the handle, it'll go vertical, like I think with Capaldi. I can't remember which episode though. And you do it again, it just goes this way. Okay, but now I want to talk about a new feature, which is called vertical landing. So if I go manual flight here, then I just fly around, you know, it's fine. But then if I just drop down on this grass, let's say, I land perfectly, and then there's a little sound. If you do it from quite a large height, let's just try this. Then you drop down. Hopefully they don't land on a building. Makes a massive crash sound, which is from, oh, what's the episode? Is it Name of the Doctor? One of the Series 7B episodes. And actually using this map and this new feature, I can recreate that. Hang on, let's just go to Trenzalore. I've always wanted to do that, I won't lie to you. And if you hold control whilst you fall, you'll fall upwards, if that makes sense. So I'm holding control and I'm vertically up. But it's really helpful to make sure you actually do vertically land. And if I just disable the shields, which we'll talk about in a minute, and get this TARDIS health low, there we go, all good. There, yeah, there we go. As you may see, the TARDIS flight is so random. It's like it starts hitting things, and it's quite hard to control. It might not be as good watching it, but when you play it, you can really tell the difference. Oh. Yep, now you can tell the difference. When you turn on things like the power and these gears over here, if you just keep holding it down, it'll just keep spinning forever and ever until you let go and then it stops, which is pretty cool. But let's just get to low health again. Okay, so you can really see this. I'm trying my best to fly in a straight line, but it just keeps moving itself around. And I believe the lower health you get, the worse it is. Oh god, I'm gonna crash into Earth now. Ah! And if I vertically land, maybe it'll work. Ooh. But yeah, that's a really cool feature that adds quite a lot of immersion to this. Because all there was before is smoke, but now there's different flight patterns and sound effects. And even changes depending on how low it is, so it's all really cool. And as we're low in health, it's also quite a good time to show you that obviously the cloister bell is ringing right now because we're on low health. But when the cloister bell is ringing and you use the time rotor handbrake, it just stops. I love this so much. If you've watched a few of my videos, you'll know I have to mute the sound sometimes when the cloister bell's on. So this just helps so much. I mean, it is great. It's such a small feature, but it's such a good one. So I want to show you the hallway system. At the time of recording this work in progress version, this is the only hallway. It might change by the time the addon comes out, I don't know. But this is really cool. So there's this hallway here. So if you go this way, there's another door here which you can't open. And then there's this big empty room. In most TARDIS addons, there's a room like this. So it's expected. But if you go this way, there's again a door that doesn't do anything. And then there's another hallway, which you go further in, there's just an empty room. But here, now what's that? Actually, that is a good point. What is that? Well, I guess we'll see in a second. Because if you use body groups, I know I said I wasn't going to use body groups, but I kind of forgot. Okay, sharp. You can actually change what this looks like. So that's the library, apparently. Then my personal favorite is the swimming pool. It looks really cool. It looks more real than I was expecting. So obviously that's just like a photo. It's quite trippy. And anyway, the last one is the Eye of Harmony room, which is also pretty cool. The door changes and you can see the Eye of Harmony, but if you jump, it's actually a physical thing there. And if I just clip through, it is actually here. I mean, it does reveal this illusion a bit, but this pathway is here. You can't walk in it though. And that's like a really cool take on the hallway system I don't think I've actually seen before. It eliminates having to waste space and make different rooms. And I teased this a bit earlier, but if you go here and look through this hole, there's another room. You can't go in it though. It's just like a model thing. It's really cool. It's just small attention to details that probably took ages for them to make. I want to go over the new control features. So normally the only keybind is R. You press R, it puts you to the ground. But now there's T, G, and H. So if I press T, you'll see it says rotation mode activated, which is so cool. You can use W, A, S, and D to change the rotation. A and D make it go left and right. W and S make it go this up and down kind of motion. Then you press R again, it centers it. I wanted that for so long. Because always the TARDIS was just in one strict position, but now you can move it. Oh my god, I love this. If you press G, it takes you to a random place on the map, and then H takes you back to where you last landed, I think. But by far the biggest update is definitely the shields. So I just get a new TARDIS to demonstrate this better. As you can see in the top left corner, there's the normal health icon, the somewhat new Archon energy, and now the very new shields. Now you can disable and enable them here, but these shields just add an extra layer of protection to the TARDIS. So say I start bashing into things, my health won't change, it will stay the exact same, but only the shields get affected. Only when the shields get to 0 is when you start losing health. You lose it all, and your health starts to decline. But then if I come out of flight, you can see the shields will start to regenerate. And unlike the Archon energy, when you put the time rotor handbrake on, it won't increase or decrease by anything. It keeps going up by the same amount. There's also this new TARDIS icon I failed to mention. It follows the theme of the Ruth, Slick Wine, and Twice Upon a Time icons. And just to remind you, this update releases on the 23rd of November, the anniversary of Doctor Who. Speaking of that, the anniversary specials are just around the corner, and if you want to know all about the new TARDIS, I suggest you watch this video here, where I use official sources to construct what the new interior may look like. Also, sorry for the lag in this video. I really wanted to get this out before the update, so it's a bit rushed. But if you liked it, join my Discord for regular updates.